Who decided the rate of blink for this thing here?
Oh, I don't know.
It's a really aggressive blink, isn't it?
It means we're on air. On air! So now that's a show.
What
AKA
show is
for
this?
fuck's sake. This is the big game debrief and Biden's executive orders so far. Kind of a mixed bag things there.
Yeah, but it's all good work, all good stuff.
And we, of course, say the big game because, we're not allowed to say Super Bowl, right?
That's offensive too?
Well, it's trademarked. So that's why you always see people that aren't official sponsors that have, say...
They can't say Super Bowl?
They can't say Super Bowl unless they're official.
Are you kidding?
That's why you see a lot of them say the big game. You ever see that? Notice that? That's
no, but now I'm going to watch for it. And I'm going to be pissed.
Yeah. Yeah, so you're not allowed to do that.
So football, that's not like nobody has rights to that?
You can say
you don't have to say the game with that oblongly weird shaped ball and
they call it a pigskin.
Tights.
They call it a pig, but it's made of cowhide.
I mean, maybe the cows thought it was offensive, so they're like, all right, well, it's pigs. Pigs were like, you know what? We don't care. Just
you would
call it whatever you want.
You would think though that players that if they're practicing Muslims or
they would feel it's like pork.
Or Jews, yeah, it's like
pork ball. Let's go play some pork ball.
They have to
little.
Early, the Hasidic Jews. I don't think I've seen any Hasidic Jews out on the football field, right?
No.
But there's like Muslims though that play football, and they call it. And what if they get offensive? They go, "Well, hey, how'd you?"
I think they just use it for they use it for when they want it to be.
Politically expedient.
Yeah.
Well, you don't have anything?
You're not supposed to stop. God, I'm so predictable. No, I do have. I have three things. Mm-hmm. One is a major announcement. You ready for this? I will not be at your Super Bowl party yesterday.
Big game party.
Yeah, big game party. I will not be.
No.
Second one is
you didn't RSVP.
I know. Well, because I had this joke going.
What's your second?
The second one is, I like to walk. This is where I see a lot of the things that I observe as I'm out in the world. I saw something somewhat odd today. So it was, as I'm walking down the street, look over off and...
Was this your retirement neighborhood? Or
No, this was work. Yeah, just what used to be work. Now we have time to walk, find things on the side of the road. But the thing that I found on the side of the road today was a single, foot insert, like a gel thing. And I'm trying to figure out, how did that slip out of someone's
from the
inside? And then thinking about it, when did they notice it? When they were only half gelling? And I can't remember. I should have checked to see if it was a left or a right, but it'd be would you have a weird limp, uncomfortable, love it, uncomfortable, love it? How do you lose?
How do you lose the other part of the shoe that was just the insert?
Yeah, but it was, just the insert. That's something I think you would notice. Yeah. All of a sudden you got home one day and you only had on one sock, and you knew you put two on in the morning. You're where the hell did that? Where did that go?
How do you lose that?
I don't know, but there's always a story, right? Mm-hmm. I want the story behind the lost gel.
Well, what you should probably do in instances like that, this is what I would do. Here's what I would do.
Well, you would pick it up and put it in your shoe, right?
I would make a story up about it, about how it happened, I would come up with plausible reasons why the gel came out, and I would use that story.
That's not my job. My job is to notice, mention, move on.
But it's been with you all day.
It has. Well, I was searching. I was I got something. That was at 2:30, right before my 3 o'clock Monday text to you, are we doing the show? And you say, got any ideas?
You didn't share that idea, though. That could have been the basis of the show.
Well, I know.
Odd findings things that you find.
Yeah, but then I'd have to like accumulate them. I don't have the memory. I don't have the
pre-work.
The pre-work's not my thing. Oh, and the last thing is an idea, and I really think now that we have this nationally syndicated podcast, that we should bring back the old band.
Oh, the ukulele bongo,
Ucamonica Bongo.
What he's referring to is, I bought and I have it here. It's in my bedroom.
It's not up here.
It's my
all your worldly possessions were right here.
My harmonica.
Yeah.
So I've learned to play a few tunes on it, but that had to be how many years ago? We're talking 15.
It's been a while.
15 years ago.
I mean, how long did it take to get this show started?
So 15 years ago, I bought a harmonica, and Jake's wanting to
start a band
with a ukulele.
Yeah.
And we were gonna. Was it Sean McIntyre on the bongo?
Well, it was gonna be like we were always gonna have like maybe a guest drummer because that's the easy part. All you gotta do is move.
We did practice that though at your birthday.
Yeah.
What was it called again?
So first, it was originally Ucamonica. That was going to be the name. And then I got a set of bongos, and somebody, it was Sean, started playing. So we're like, wait, we got to change the name of the band, Ucamonica Bongo. So I think that's got to be, I mean, because this is on cruise control now, obviously. The talent, the pure, the comedy is just refined now.
Well, and we don't really have to do anything. The news and the topics just keep coming.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, I have a list. I created a document of all these.
Then why do you keep asking me?
Because I want to see.
No, you just want me to participate?
I do. I want you to feel like you're participating. I mean, I've already got lined up for next week. I know exactly what we're talking about next week.
I'm just glad I keep getting invited back. Well, actually, I just show up.
Yeah. Sometimes late. Never on time.
So I think that's what we should do. And you know what we could do is we could have a guest host, and we'll be like the band over off to the side,
like
Johnny Carson show.
Who was the guy on Letterman?
Yeah,
Paul Schaefer.
We'll just be out to the side, and they'll say, "What do you think of that?" We'll be like, "Yes, you did." But every time we go to commercial break, because by then we'll have sponsors, we'll just bang out a little Ucamonica Bongo as we roll into the commercial.
I should probably wheel my pump organ back in here too.
No to the pump organ.
Well, as we mentioned from the outset, yesterday we're distracted right now because a Family Guy episode is on the screen. Peter's a woman diving. Speaking of which, so he's dressed like a woman. He could do that now, right?
I mean, he's probably he's on the women's diving
thing now because of the transgender rules. Which, by the way,
that's another segue.
Have to do with the Biden executive orders. But yesterday was the Super Bowl. We're going to do a debrief of the Super Bowl. But
I have to stop looking up because people are going to think I'm laughing at your jokes.
You probably are. But here, this meme right here.
Oh my God!
That epitomizes the Super Bowl, the complete and utter disaster. It was not necessarily the game itself, but the halftime show was it was odd. It was like bizarre.
It was like nobody knew he was going to do that. You have to think that the people in like the production
committee or whatever,
the production studio while it was going on, they were like,
"What did they rehearse it?" They rehearse. It's not like they don't rehearse it. Well, I don't know. I mean, I don't know if they did rehearse it, but the thing was, they're walking around. These people, I don't know what it was supposed to be, but it was jock straps on their face.
It was basically like whiteface.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was freaky. This was like, it was almost like Pink Floyd in the Wall, where they're just like dropping off into the.
Well, they were doing acid. You know, they did that.
Yeah, that was about it. When he went into that room, how many people across the country, and I don't know if they've tallied this up yet, threw up? Because that was like, or went into epileptic seizures or things like that. That was.
I try, like during halftime is usually when I kind of mix and mingle and don't really pay attention to stuff. But I have 3 TVs on upstairs, and you couldn't get away from it. It was, and so you wanted to really see what the hell he was doing.
Because last year,
first of all, I never heard of the guy. I mean,
I've never heard of him either. You know who heard of him?
Who?
Mike heard of him. He liked some of his songs.
Oh, Mike.
Yeah.
Well, there's that one song. Now, I did recognize the one song he did from like some commercials or something he did. That's it. But who?
Because they've been blasting that one song all over the place.
Who decides though who the halftime show is? I would think the NFL decides that, right?
I don't know. I mean, I can't imagine who is that like for sale by owner. It's like, yeah, the NFL would have to be the one selling that.
But a little meme I saw today says, when Dr. Fauci recommends wearing jock straps to slow the spread.
I think some of them were wearing 2 of those white things over there.
Well, he's 2, right?
Yeah.
No, maybe even 3 now.
3.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So let's get into some of the big game Super Bowl. Oh, I said Super Bowl.
We're gonna need like a little quarter jar for you. Every time you
break
the rule.
So let's talk about the winners and losers, and not necessarily like the teams that play. We know who won and who lost, but out of the whole thing, who are the winners and losers you see from that?
The winners, I would say CBS was a winner because they were able to promote a number of their own shows, seeing that there were so many open slots for commercials. Yeah. They probably they got that.
But none of the big ones did it. Like Budweiser didn't do anything. And what was their reason?
I don't know. I think a lot of people were afraid to say the wrong thing
because of COVID. Oh, politically incorrect.
Oh, and when did Bruce Springsteen all of a sudden become this guy that was like, eating corn maze and stuff like that in the middle of the country? Is he from like New Jersey?
Yeah.
Cowboy hat, that was
reinventing himself.
That was ridiculous. Talk about a pivot. That was a pivot. And he's still trying to walk around where everybody wants to like look at his ass and his Levi jeans. It's like, dude, you're like 70 right now. Yeah. There's nothing left to it. That was probably the worst.
This is probably we're going to lose fans here when I say this, but I've never been a fan of his music.
Yeah, I mean, he had a run there, but then he went. This is why you don't.
Well, he was born to run.
This is why you don't go that far overboard one way or the other. If you're in entertainment, you can't. I mean, we can go this way because we're nationally syndicated podcast.
Globally. So it reaches all ends of the earth. Yeah, I'm gonna say the winners though. This is the winner. I think the big winner here is the front office for Tampa Bay.
Mm-hmm.
Think about it. All of the guys that scored a touchdown or scored points, including the kicker, were not there 11 months ago.
Yeah.
Every one of them.
Yeah, they were on New England.
And their kicker's last name is Suck Up.
I know. That's a winner. That crosses both lines.
You would think if your name's Suck Up, if it's pronounced that way, you change the pronunciation of it, right? I mean, you would definitely. Suck.
But people would then say suck up, and you'd be like, then you'd have to correct them, and they'd be like, yeah, suck up. Suck up.
But it looks like Sukop.
Yeah.
I thought that was a big loser. Patrick Mahomes' mom tweeting about how unfair the reffing was.
Yeah, you don't do that.
It was like Brady's wife.
Yeah. Oh, I know. When Wes Welker dropped that pass.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That was a winner.
Very true. Yeah.
I think I was a winner. Had a Super Bowl party and had a betting board.
Did I tell you I'm not coming?
had five, $5 per square, or 100 squares, $500 in the pot. In the first quarter, winner $100, second quarter $100, third quarter $100, fourth quarter $200.
You won all four?
I won the first and second quarter.
I won the second, the third, and fourth. Because the score didn't change, basically.
Yeah. Second, first.
So if you had the third quarter, you won the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
So we're winners.
So, but think about it though. I was the host, and I won two of them. But we had other side bets too. The coin toss. We had the coin toss bet. We had the who scored first?
There were no real controversies, though. There really weren't.
But speaking of coin toss, the winner of the last 7 coin tosses,
heads,
whichever team won the coin toss, has lost the Super Bowl. So if you lost in the last 7 Super Bowls, if you have lost the toss, you won the game.
So what does that mean for next year?
I don't know if it means anything.
It doesn't.
But that was interesting.
That's why when you go to a roulette table in Vegas, they show you the last things because it plays with your psyche.
Yeah.
So really is no.
Each roll resets, right?
Right.
So that was interesting about the coin toss. The halftime disaster we talked about a little bit here, but I mean, who said, "Yep, that's our guy"?
Did somebody get fired today? Somebody had to have gotten fired.
What was it when? I guess it all started
because last year was like, wasn't it
Shakira
and J-Lo? Mm-hmm. That was last year, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was a totally different experience.
Mm-hmm. That was in Miami. Was it Miami last year?
Oh, I came to that party here. I was here for that one.
And you weren't even invited.
I know. I just showed up.
You were invited yesterday.
I thought we were doing the show.
So. Yeah, we'll think back though. Remember, was it Atlanta? Atlanta last time they had a hip hop thing, and it became a bunch of F-bombs and
that was
N-words. So they kind of said no to that one. What did you think? That's what their songs have that in there. What were they?
I know what they think they were going to
bleep themselves out.
Yeah.
How about the streaker?
That was funny. You couldn't really see it. Like, all of a sudden, you saw Patrick Mahomes just kind of like, hold on a second, because he saw him come. He figured he was going to, like, lay one right on his lips, like Morgana. Remember her?
Morgana?
Yes.
The kissing bandit.
Mm-hmm. But this guy, did you see what he was wearing?
Yes, he had a thong, like pink thong thing on, and it was, I read about it today, it was, it had an advertisement for Vitally Uncensored. It's an adult website.
No way.
Yeah. So the guy, he ended up getting, he had $500 bond and got fourth degree.
I'm surprised it didn't say like parlor on it, just to get a little bit of press.
We'll do that the next Super Bowl. The parlor.
No, parlor. The
social media.
The social media thing.
Is that back yet?
Wouldn't it have been funny if it was Trump that actually ran out there?
Could you see
I'm back, baby, and I'm loving every minute of it. That would have been hilarious.
But I mean, that was probably the most exciting part of the second half.
Yeah. Yep.
I mean, anyway, so he's 31 years old. And have you seen the video of it?
Yeah.
He's a hairy motherfucker.
Yeah.
I mean,
what did he do? He just went and he slid down on like the.
Yeah. So he was trying to make the goal line, but he slid down like a quarterback does. You know, like he started to slide early at the 1 yard line. But yeah, I mean, it's probably what.
I hope that, you know what? I hope that's a tradition. I hope that becomes a tradition.
You know, nowadays, you're surprised that they don't get like shot or tased on the spot, right?
Yeah. Well, no, everybody, they're all told to stand down.
Oh yeah, that's right.
If there's a streaker, stand down.
They probably didn't have enough security there because they defunded.
Yeah.
The stadium police defunded. I didn't watch much of this because, I think they showed highlights up there at halftime at Biden's interview, right? But I did pick up on something that I felt was ironical, right? And we're going to see why it's ironical here. I have a little photo to share. So here he was. If you look, there's the interviewer. He's the interviewee.
You need like a beer pong table in between.
So, for effect, they're social distance, right?
That's like 32 feet. They could play cornhole from where they are.
What room are they in? Is that they took a room in the White House and there's nothing there?
They took over. Maybe Trump took it with him. It was all his stuff.
Where do they put all that? I mean,
Trump brought in a whole bunch of IKEA furniture, and he took it home with him. That's so weird. And even the announcers with their masks on, like, wow. Yeah.
It's cheap. But here's the kicker. Biden's not wearing a mask. Neither is the interviewer.
Well, I mean, I'm surprised they don't have megaphones. Or they're not on phones. They should have they should have
like a glass like at the prison, right?
Glass. Or they should have cans of Campbell's soup with a string in between it.
So it's
That's a good point,
President. So ridiculous.
I think everything you say is perfectly fine.
What's your favorite ice cream?
What kind of ice cream do you like? I like ice cream. Ice cream.
Admittedly, I didn't watch the interview in that.
I think really what they need there is they need Jeff Dunham just always sitting next to him because he looks like the old man.
The old man.
Yeah. I think Jeff Dunham should just, instead of Joe Biden or Dr. Joe Biden, it should be Jeff Dunham always sitting next to him. I think we should open the schools. What do you think, Chris? I think we should open the schools.
I don't think I go school.
I don't know why the kids aren't in school. That's my priority.
There's certain words that are hard to say without moving your mouth. Like mouth.
No, does the ventriloquist have to wear a mask because they don't actually they're not actually putting anything out there. What do you think, Chris? You think
if I were a ventriloquist, I would wear a mask. I'd say for the same, that way I could just talk like they're going, well, that's what he said.
I think that would have been a funny commercial for the Super Bowl is Pinocchio wearing a mask and having it stretch out.
What was that commercial? Remember that was a Geico?
Yeah.
You're all very great. Pinocchio's a motivational speaker. And the guy's just like he's lying to him.
You ever start doing an accent and you can't stop doing it? I just got stuck in a ventriloquist. I was doing two things at the same time.
Pinocchio doing ventriloquist. Speaking of commercials, that reminds me of an idea I have for a Super Bowl. I think Super Bowl commercial. Frito-Lay used to do this thing where if you turn in the best, Doritos ad, $1 million, right?
Right.
And so I have an idea.
You haven't won that yet?
No, but
you haven't submitted it.
It will be Fritos.
Okay. Yeah.
And the premise is, think of the movie Braveheart, right? Mel Gibson.
You mean the Christmas? No, that's not a Christmas movie.
Braveheart.
I'm trying to think of the other Christmas movie.
So he, there's scenes in there where he's pumping up the Scottish troops to fight the British, the English, and so he's going up and down the horse, and he tells them, and he goes, they can take our homes, but they can't take our freedom. Well, wait, was that a accent? That was a Scottish accent. Freedom. That was more Russian.
Yeah. I think it's because you were trying to ventriloquist
it. So instead of that, he's riding up and down there, and he says, they can take our homes, They can take our families, but they cannot take our Fritos. And he's holding a pack, and he throws it up, and that's where they go, yeah, they're all motivated. They go trounce the English. And then at the end of the movie, when he's caught, and he's laying there, and he's about to get beheaded.
You know I haven't seen the movie.
Well, he's laying there, about to get beheaded, and because they captured him, but he wouldn't bow to the crown of England. The King of England wouldn't honor him or vouch for him, and so they were going to behead him. And they had him in the town square, and everybody watching. And he's laying there strapped down, and the guy that's supervising the execution says, "Do you have any last thing you want to say?" And they were expecting him to say he honors the king, but he turns laying there on the board, turns to the crowd, and he yells out, "Freedom!" Well, here he would yell out, "Go Fritos!" And then
you could do that as two separate commercials. Do the first one. That was really funny, and then
So that's my idea.
That's really good. That's a good one.
But you haven't seen Braveheart, so but you know what I'm talking about, though. When he says,
"No,
you've seen."
No, but I still think it's funny.
So it will be good.
Somebody in the room will have seen it. Like if you're watching the Super Bowl by yourself, and you're like, "I don't get it. It's not funny to me." Then let that person go. But keep them on this side of the bell curve.
Well, I just want to do that. I don't care if they run it.
I mean, again, we're nationally syndicated.
Globally.
I just want to let you say that again. That's to emphasize to the audience how awesome we are.
Oh no, not national. We're global. Well,
somebody's going to hear that. Now you just lost your whole idea.
But we have it on record.
Right.
So speaking of Biden, I mean, it's a good point to pivot here.
Segue.
Into the executive orders. Now, all presidents have issued executive orders and everything. That's part of the gig. But
most of them know what they're doing.
In 2 weeks, he has signed off on 28.
I thought it was like 40.
28. No, there's also 10 memoranda and 2 letters that they don't count as executive orders. There's emphasis.
Then there's like a partridge and a pear tree.
So just to give you an idea here, just give you kind of the breakdown. The most ever in the first month most ever was FDR back in 1933. He had 33 in the 1933. He had 33. 33 in the first month. Now Biden's not even halfway there with the month yet. He's 2 weeks in. He's at 28.
And he's been sleeping a good portion.
Sleepy Joe, yeah.
Yeah. So
Trump had 12 in his first 2 weeks. Obama had 19 in his first 2 weeks. George W. Bush had 7 in his first 2 weeks. Clinton had 6. George 8.
Yes, Clinton did have 6.
You like?
Did he sign? Did he do 6 of them in the Oval Office?
He's 6th in 9. There was an argument whether it was either 6 or 9. George Herbert Walker Bush 2 and Ronald Reagan 5. So he's really
pumping them up.
He's getting on it now. So let's look at something. Now there's 28. I'm not going to pull all 20. I just pulled some that I found probably most compelling. And there's one on here I don't have listed that is we'll talk about. But the end of private prisons. I had no idea that we had private prisons, but that sounds like a great idea. That's a great idea. I think it was I read where 18% of federal inmates are in a private prison. Now, the private prison is just like contracting out, catering. The government contracts that they don't have the space for it in a federal prison, so they let the private, and it's proven that they do it cheaper. Much cheaper, but Biden says no, we're not going to have private prisons anymore.
I think the private prisons, they should have it where it's all like the show Wipeout, where they have to
the
obstacles and stuff like that.
Yeah,
they've got to go through, but there's like real alligators and like let's make it fun, but challenging, a little risky.
So that was one of them. Another one, the Keystone Pipeline cancellation, which
Why? Why would you do that? Like, what is the point?
Think about this though. So they claim the claim is that the people that were anti-Keystone Pipeline say it's harmful to the environment, right? That you're going through areas where animals migrate and blah blah blah.
Whatever. They like jumping over. Like, couldn't you see? Like,
well, if you ever seen it,
like a gazelle,
it's elevated. In most places, elevated, so things get under. In some places, it's underground. So, but think about this. So the Keystone Pipeline was created to move oil from Canada down to the U.S. for refinement, right? So what are they going to have to do now? How are they going to transport that?
I know. Well, no, they're not going to. We've stopped oil. Oil stopped when Biden got.
We're going to transport it via trains or
trucks
that burn fossil fuel.
Right. Yeah. The logic is absolutely
that have more odds of having a disaster, a tanker truck crashing or a train derailing.
Yeah. Yeah. And we know what happens with like truckers in rest stops.
Yes.
I mean, that doesn't happen with a pipeline.
So it's just that was just logic and reason just went out the window with that. How about this one?
Oh,
having undocumented immigrants. I love how we call it undocumented. What's called illegal aliens?
Right.
Illegal.
Right.
Illegals. I mean, that's not
undocumented.
Undocumented immigrants. What if I get on a plane and they say, show me your passport or your ID? I'm like, I'm undocumented. Will they let me on the plane?
Sorry.
But we're going to count them in the census now.
Yeah. Well, did you look through the census this past time? There's a list of like 20 things that you can identify as. And you have to pick one. Like literally you have to pick one of them.
I think I did the census online. What did last year we did census?
Yeah. 2020.
So you know that the thing though here.
Why are they asking the question?
The blowback here is the number of seats in the House and your government are based on your. Yeah. So if you have, does that mean like, let's just say LA? LA has probably, I don't know, in the metro area. In the metro area, they probably have about 3 million undocumented immigrants in the greater wide area. That's a lot of
that's a lot of school desks.
Yeah,
that's no doubt.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Why are people just not asking questions?
Here's someone similar. No more harsh and extreme immigration treatment. I wanted to find the definition of harsh. That's how they said it. I didn't make this up. Harsh and extreme. So it's now back to catch and release.
Yeah.
Catch and release.
I mean, I've always said that if somebody is in favor of this kind of stuff, they should sponsor an immigrant. Right? Mm-hmm. So it's like, okay, I'll bring them in. Yeah, they can live with me in my house. And I'll pay for all their stuff and I'll,
that gets back to the NIMBY stuff.
Right. But still,
your old senator was classic for this.
If you ask the question of somebody to do that, they'd be like, well, I'm not going to do that. Why would I do that?
Well, it's like when you tell somebody that they say, I'm willing to pay more taxes. Okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Here it is. There's a place to do it. They're like, well, no, not me. I'm not going to do that. We all have to do it. There's a group. Everybody.
We're in this together. Yeah. We're in this together.
Yeah. Unity. Unity is all paying taxes together.
So, harsh and extreme immigration treatment. I don't understand that.
You figure, too, that these people are so corruptly wealthy that they would just do it. Like, all right, you know what? I'm going to lead by example. I'm going to send $1,000 to the... It doesn't matter to them. They're making, millions and millions of dollars a year. Not that making millions of dollars a year is a bad thing.
No.
But when you do it corruptly...
For ill-gotten gains.
When you do it corruptly like that, it's not right. That's not good. Mm-mm. Okay, next one.
Federal property mask mandate. Where, as we saw, the hypocrisy. Right?
Yeah.
that the executive order was that at all federal properties, indoor and outdoor, I think too. I think that includes like monuments, but those are being torn down.
So if you climb the fences that they're putting around the
You have to have a
Capitol,
mask on.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it's funny how like that wall, good, border wall, bad.
Well, that's another one.
Sorry.
No, but I don't have it on here, but
No.
that's
Yeah.
one of the executive orders is stop construction on the wall.
Yeah.
The one that got me, and I
Does
don't.
that mean that like basically you go down and all of a sudden there's an end to it and you just go like whoop around the end of it? Is that how this works?
Well, have you ever seen in San Diego, right there at the border on the actual ocean, right on the beach?
Yeah.
There's a wall that extends out, a fence that extends out in the ocean. But if you could swim out far enough, you can just go around that place.
They're out there. The Mexican crew team coxing up at the front telling them, go, go, go.
Cox. What do they go? Coxswain?
Coxswain.
Coxswain? Coxswain? Well, I'm a coxswain. But the other one, too, that I don't have on here is the LGBTQ plus whatever the alphabet soup. Now, they pretty much kicked Title IX out the window.
Yeah.
They fought for so many years for Title IX for, equality in college sports and high school sports and all that. And now, under executive order, transgender are allowed to compete in whichever they want.
Right.
So you've seen already in a week.
That one I would think that there would be an uproar over. And everybody's just like, oh, he's so good. He's so
You've seen these men, they call themselves transgender, winning these events. Like
it's
going away.
Yeah, it's like a Saturday Night Live spin. Like, they're just like...
And that's the thing. Saturday Night Live won't touch it.
Yeah.
Because
they
it's
won't
Biden.
touch any of this stuff.
There is so much good material for Saturday Night Live.
Yeah.
And I don't care like if it was my side of the political spectrum, your side. If it's funny, it's funny.
Wait, why don't you say my side and then my side?
My side, your side. I don't know. I don't care what your sides are. Who cares? I mean, I don't have any political sides. I'm around. But if they
both ways,
there's wait, can you do that? We got one going one way and the other. That's hard to do.
I'm not going to do it on film.
A lot of people can't do that. Yeah, so that's the LGBTQ thing. But another one, let's see if I got.
I don't know if you got those right. LGBTQ.
The airport mask mandate, right?
Yeah.
So we have the federal property mask mandate now, telling the airlines or the airports that you have to wear a mask at all times in the airport. Another reason why I'm going to do everything possible not to do air travel.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just we're shooting our economy in the dick.
And they're giving them they're giving the airlines billions of dollars.
Yeah,
and
that's why I bought stock.
Like that.
I bought stock in American when all this started because I knew that the federal government wouldn't allow them to shut down. Anyhow,
and the other thing is now you get the vaccine, and they're like, "Well, you still have to wear all your masks. You still have to do all this." It's like, well, why the hell did I get this then? What's the big deal?
Did you get the vaccine?
No, I never would. I'm not getting a vaccine.
I mean,
I got polio. If I have to get a tetanus shot,
I'll say this about like the vaccine shot. You're out of your mind for getting it now. Because first of all, it hadn't been fully tested, right? We haven't seen. Once I see what happens to all the people that have taken it and everything, and then I feel safer about it, I might get the vaccine. But requiring me to do that or anyone to do that, beyond me.
No.
I mean, and putting prisoners in front of the elderly.
I know. Not just prisoners, like terrorists.
Terrorists, Gitmo.
Whose idea was that? Who even said that was a good idea?
I can see, given the guards, the prison guards and all that, but the terrorists and Gitmo, which, by the way, they're never going to be released. So why?
I know. We don't need them anymore.
Oh, for fuck's sake. All right, well, here, look at this. Speaking of mask mandates and that. I don't know if you caught this story. So, got some awkward ending, but we have some fun memes with those.
Okay.
So you know the new assistant Secretary of Health. Have you seen?
Oh yeah.
So I created a couple of memes with them.
Okay.
When the government nominates this person to lead our country's health policies, that's Dr. Rachel Levine, formerly known as, I think, Bob.
Yeah. Just Bob.
But this is Levine's
Like
family.
it's not even. He literally looks like literally it. Whatever the heck you were gonna say here. It literally just looks like a guy with a wig. I mean, it's not even. He's not trying very hard. It's not trying very hard.
But this is, I think, former spouse. I don't know if you call it that anymore, spouse and child. And this is like, yep, this is where we're getting our health advice from. And one more here. When you're expected to follow mask wearing mandates, as we saw, by a dude who wears a bra.
I mean, God, what is going on with us?
We're being told you've got to wear a mask by a dude wearing bra. This is what I'm talking about. How is this not Saturday Night Live opening act?
I mean, you could bring back. Wait, who was it that did Wayne's World?
Oh, Garth.
Yeah. You bring Garth.
Yeah.
Come right back.
Dana Carvey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As like her husband.
But would be
Its
canceled.
husband? Yes.
Canceled.
That would be bad. Canceled. I don't know.
So I thought that was a pretty good day. They wrapped all this up rather neatly.
Right.
We were talking about the mask. Do you have anything to add?
I mean, how are you gonna beat that? I mean, everything in Biden's thing right now is the first of this, the first of that, the first.
Transgender.
Yeah.
Health is
The first of everything. It's
Which,
like,
by the way,
great, that's awesome.
Which, by the way, I was reading the job description of I said, well, what does the Assistant Secretary of Health do, right? Well, it's a policy position, executive branch, and one of the things that they do is they drive the mental health policy. That's the person driving the mental health policy, because I would have to think there's a mental aspect to this.
Where's the qualification? Where's the what's the
pediatrician? Pediatrician was this person, and I don't know if it goes by she or her or him or whatever. This person was the Pennsylvania Department of Health director, former pediatrician, whatnot, former male too. Well, no, still male, right? Because it's still got the. Oh, it was that. Speaking of which, I shared it on.
Oh yeah, I saw
Facebook.
that.
This man is being applauded and honored for making clothing, in particular bathing suits, for transgenders. In particular, this person's
Was it 9-year-old daughter or something?
11-year-old daughter, well, transgender daughter, which means born with junk, right? Born as a male, right? Was complaining about having trouble finding a bikini bottoms that fit comfortably.
You're like, I don't understand. I've got 3 pair in my upstairs in the.
Well, I'm like, and so this father has designed these bikini bottoms for transgender children.
So basically, a Speedo bottom, bikini top.
What I had trouble. What gave me pause, first of all, was transgender children. These kids, you're letting your kid decide at age 4 and 5 what they would.
Right.
There's something wrong there, right? But at the same time, these college students, the government doesn't feel that they're ready to pay back their college loans. It's just too much of a burden for a college-age student. But at 4, therefore, you deciding what gender you are.
Yeah.
But what I thought was funny and ironical about the whole bathing suit thing was, well, of course he's going to have discomfort putting on a chick's bikini bottom because of his junk there, and it's only going to get worse for him.
Well, I don't think it's
for her.
I wouldn't even think it's so much discomfort. I think it's more like, there's not room there.
Can they tuck? What do they do? Like, what do transvestites do? Do they tuck and tape?
Maybe Flex Seal could get involved in this. I got this bone in half.
I decided
I could hide that wiener in your
years ago. If I was doing a stage act, like cross-dressing stage act.
Oh boy,
my name would be Penny Tucker.
Just in case.
Penis.
Just in case that opportunity comes up, I'm prepared. It's like zip opens up.
It's like the guy in was it Silence of the Lambs? Tucked it. Shoo. It's got to go somewhere though. It's not like it's like mass or matter, right?
Right.
You can't just. It doesn't. It goes
there.
Something.
It's there.
So if they're that.
Now, did she take it out? So you were just sitting there. Yeah. And you took it. Yeah. Out.
She took it out. We should probably save some of this, though, right, for upcoming. But I know next week, because normally February 15th, pitchers and catchers report to spring training. Baseball. But under COVID rules, who knows what's going to happen. So I think next week we really need to tackle just and we allude to these a lot, but we're gonna in one show we're gonna stack up.
You're preparing me now, you too.
Just think about this.
Yeah. Okay.
But think about the lunacy and idiocy of some of the COVID guidelines and regulations. I think we should.
Oh yeah. No, it's. I don't know.
The hypocrisy.
I feel like there's still people that believe this stuff though.
Hey, look, like I said, I believe that there's COVID. I believe that there is a COVID that exists out there. But the stuff about wearing 2 masks or even 3 masks now, it's just like...
I went into the bank today, and they had normally you would go in, and there's the little table, and you write out your deposit or whatever slip. This thing was like...
Do they still have a little thing on the pen that you can't take the pen?
That was off to the side.
Oh.
I walked in. I'm like, "What?" He's like, "Here's a slip. You can fill this out over there." I'm like, "All right. Well, if I'm gonna go fill it out, then why don't you just put it back where it was? I liked it here. Very nice. I could just come in, do my
glass shelves underneath.
Yeah. Like, shit, which one is this?
I can't tell you the last time I went inside of a bank.
That's fun. You should go in there.
Go inside of a bank. Last time I went inside of a bank.
The nice thing about the bank is that they have the box of the disposable masks. You can always grab a couple, throw them in the car just in case you get stuck without your designer one. Your Georgia Southern, whatever your.
I have a few.
Yeah, I'm sure you do.
I have 2 Georgia Southern ones.
This is the problem. It's turned into a fashion statement, and you would today you would have on one that's kind of like wine colored. You'd be like, oh, it goes with my black one. There's obviously a story behind this. No, there's no story. You just wore this.
Yeah.
Oh, wino.
Oh, that's it.
Wino.
Yeah, I got this from somebody. Just had it. They do promotional
wine.
I don't even know what it says.
It says wine with an exclamation point. Like, oh yeah.
Or wino. Like a wino.
God, I gotta get that back. I gotta get that more into my
shtick.
Yeah, the guy. Remember a couple episodes ago? Oh yeah.
All right, Well,
That's a good end. That's a good way to end.
We'll check in with you next
This
week.
was a good show.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So, next time on Now That's a Show.